Hi everyone, this is Crafts for Others, and this is my 70th Talk to Me Tuesday. And this is the quilt that I have been hand quilting for my husband. So I'm just free-forming it, as you can see. So I've gotten about 1 or 2 rows done on this project. I have plenty more to go. I just always keep this in this little big huge shopping bag, and that way it doesn't get anything on it. And I will show you the next quilt I have been working on. This is the next quilt I'm working on. It is for my nephew, and as you can see, I'm just starting to sew it. I'm just doing it on the machine. But I think he will like it. He just turned 2 in February, so this is a very late, belated birthday gift. So here are several other projects I have that are knitted and crocheted. So I have some washcloths. This is a gift. I think maybe I showed these before, but I can't remember. This will be for my mother or my grandmother. Then this is for my grandfather and his wife. Then these ones are going to be for a charity that I found through Ravelry, or a group that needed washcloths. It was going to be going to a women's shelter on a Native American reservation. I'm hoping they still need them. I made them a while ago, and I wanted to make some more before I send them, but this is just one of them. I really like the colors in this one. Then these two, it's the same color but different design. These ones, when I made the washcloths, the dye came off on my hands, which I'd never had that happen before. So I just went ahead and made sure that the dye wouldn't, when they washed it, it wouldn't wash out. So I put it in some water, with a little bit of vinegar, then just put it out flat, let it air dry, then washed it and dried it like regular. And so these have been washed since, and they're really vibrant colors. They did dull a little bit, but actually not that much at all. And then I saw a pattern for a granny stripe Afghan, and I used to try to crochet, but I could never get the sides straight. And I found out one of my friends was having a baby, so it's their first for her anyways. And so I bought some yarn, and multicolored yarn, and went ahead and made this baby Afghan. And I didn't get as you can see, I didn't get the sides straight, but she won't care. So she had a baby boy. They were pretty sides. So I think it came out pretty good. So I know it's sided. And then originally I thought my friend, for whatever reason, was having a girl, and I went on Facebook to see when her due date was, and then I realized, oh no, she wasn't having a girl, she was having a boy. And I didn't know what I was going to do with the multicolored baby girl yarn, because I didn't know anyone else that was having kids. But then I found out that my cousin and his spouse, they adopted a baby girl. So I worked on this, and that's how it came out. It was very different than the other one, because the Afghan that I made for my friend, the blue is kind of blended in, so you didn't see as much as the contrast compared to this one. This one was yellows and white and light blue and purple and pink. And so it really stands out for the design that came out, the way I did it. And I didn't, you know, I wasn't trying to make any certain pattern or anything. I know sometimes with the multicolored yarn, people try to do, I think it's called pooling, try to get certain designs and stuff, but I didn't try to do any of that. But I think it came out pretty good, and I know they're excited and they'll like it. Then for my husband, he wanted me to make something for him. I made this. I need to make it a little bit longer, probably about maybe about here. And what it is, he has a keyboard on his desk, and the keyboard always keeps on sliding, so he wanted me to make something to go underneath it so it doesn't slide. So I just have a little bit more to go on that. And then he really likes this yarn, and so out of I have leftover yarn of this, I am going to be making him a scarf as well. So, and then I really like doing the granny stripe patterns. As you can tell on the second one, I got the edges correct. So what I started doing was I had some yarn by Michaels, and I decided to make a little bedspread. And actually, I just kept on making the beginning row until I was like, oh, okay, this is big enough. But I actually made it too wide. Right now, it fits the whole length of our queen size bed. So, as you can imagine, for the width, it's plenty. It hangs over. So, and I started this last night. And then it goes, as you can tell, clear over there. Don't mind, I need to do some vacuuming. But I have never worked with their brand of yarn before. It's called Loops and something. I'm not sure of the name, and this is supposed to be only a 4 weight. But it is very, I don't know, it's very big, it's very bulky, and it's very rough. It's 100% acrylic, but I mean, I've worked with acrylic 100% before, and it's never been this rough. And I mean, I have other wasted 4 yarn, and it's not this bulky either. So I don't know if I'm ever going to use this type of yarn before. Has anyone used their yarn? I mean, it looks okay far away, but it's just very different. The last project that I have to show you right now, it's all kind of mangled and it looks like more of curtains than anything, because it's just all kind of bunched up because I have it on the circle needles. So basically what this is, and I couldn't find one long enough, so basically what this is I am doing the temperature Afghan. And some people knit it, some people do in crochet. I've seen some people doing quilting with it. Basically what it is, you picked your whatever colors you want for a temperature range. And every day you check to see what the weather is, and depending on the weather, you make a row of that color. Some people are just doing the high of the day, some people are doing the low of the day. I was actually doing both. So it's come out quite different than what I thought it would. And I didn't realize when I am knitting it, because I've always only used the multicolored yarn. When I use one row, I use the high, then the next row is the low. Sometimes it will be a little off. So here for this one whole row here, you might have part of the high or part of the low from a previous day and then that day. So next time I don't think I'm going to do the garter stitch. And I am several days, I think about, well, actually not days. I think I'm about 2 weeks behind. But, and this is also, I didn't realize on the back, the colors will be a little bit different too. But again, that's because I've only worked on the multicolored yarn, so I didn't realize that with the garter stitch, the colors will look different on the back and on the front. But yeah, so it's getting pretty long, and I'm only, I think, a couple of days or maybe a week and a half into March on this. Like I said, I'm like about, I think, 2 weeks behind or so. And but yeah, so now that it's finally getting more colors, it's kind of turning out better. I think next time I'm going to do it where I do it in 5 degree temperature difference in the color change than just 10, because then I had so many different days that it had the same colors, and then they just kind of blended in, and it really gave it kind of a weird dull look. And so this orange here is actually when it was in the high 70s. So that was a pretty rare day. But now we're getting into the 60s, mid 60s, mid 70s. So we're getting into more yellows. And then the only date so far, this one right here, this big huge, like the pink here, that was the coldest day that we had, and that was below 13 degrees. So as you can see here, most of the temperatures have been for the winter have been in the 50s, 40s and 50s. Well, probably 30s to 50s. But. So it hasn't really been cold. But so I need to get caught up on it. But right now it kind of looks like it's since it's all bunched up, it looks like it's more of, like, if you look at it that way, it looks more kind of like it's window curtains. But obviously I'm not doing it in the round, I'm just using the circled needles. Then that way I can have the length of it. And I'm not sure how big this will be. I know some people did 200 and some, counted on the stitches. I did, I think, 315. I've never made a blanket before with the knitting, so I have not a clue. But either way, it will turn out interesting, and we'll see what the colors are later on in the year. And it will definitely be big enough. So I hope everyone's doing good, and take care, everyone.